Okay, so we are going with the last session about sound and audio stuff. This time, well, we are gonna be focused on the digital mixer and the Behringer that you have. Um, I will do an really fast overview about all the functions. Where is the preamp comparing to the analog one? We're gonna be made like principle that stuff like comparing. You already learn how to use a analog one, so you have to translate that to the digital domain. And gladly this time we'll have like a live band playing, like the signals will be working here in each one of the channels. We will have the signals, there is already a name and everything. So let's go. First, I just want to mention you to just to remember and to have in mind that we have been talking about sound and audio. So the audio starts on the electroacoustic chain and not change, and it's finished on the speakers and the people listening to it. So uh, when you turn on the system, and the musicians should know this too for avoid like major mistakes and maybe burn some equipment, is like always the source of the sound should be on first. For example, in this example we have speakers there and the mixer. The mixer is always on first, because if you turn on the speakers first, we already talked that they are active speakers, so they have the power stage inside. So if you turn it on before the mixer, the power stage will be ready to amplify like every signal, each one. So when you turn on the mixer, it just releases a shock, an electrical shock, and it will be amplified, and sometimes you can really mess up your speakers. I have seen that before, like speakers burning or the power stage burning because of that. So you have to avoid that. And when you're turning off, is the same. If you don't turn it off the power stage first, then you will shut down every other stuff and will have the same like electrical spark that can burn everything. So just to mention that. Now we are gonna go to the mixer. As I told you, this time we will have like a band that will be playing. Sorry, I will make a loop. A band that will be playing. You already can see in the individual LEDs like we are receiving signal. So as we talk in the analog mixer, the first thing that you have to do is to match the level. And how do you do that? With the preamp stage. In this mixer, the preamp stage is in this little square. Each one of the sections of this mixer can be uh, viewed in this screen that is really nice. You can be in the home button and you can overview the whole channel through all their stages, or you can move through each one of these with the page select buttons. But at the same time, each section has a view button. So if you want to just view the preamp section, you can just push the view button. You can just watch the equalizer section, you push there. So you go to the preamp section, and this mixer is really handy. Like you can see everything in several parts. So for example, we have the LEDs of the input signal here, just beside the preamp, we have like an overview on each channel at the same times, and we have LEDs here, like really long and in the screen. So for example, if I am just watching the equalizer section, I still looking for the LEDs here, and I will have this to be used. So do you remember the last time that we have like a special button on the analog mixer that says pre-fader listening, like the PFL button? Here is replaced by another name that is called solo. I don't know how to say in English. Solo. Oh, nice. So when you push it, you have two things at the same time. You will be able to listen the signal on your headphones with the volume, obviously you're listening to it now. I am soloing the signal just to hear it on the headphones, and the system will be sounding each signal that I have raised with the faders, and at the same time the signal will be routed to these LEDs. That is really nice. I really love to use this because it shows you like with clarity where is the signal level. Now, there is a difference between the analog domain and the digital domain. In the analog domain, we have the zero marker in mostly in the half of the way. So do you remember that I told you that the zero is like the ideal voltage to the mixer to work? Well, in the digital domain, that doesn't work like that because the zero is on the top. The zero is the limit. Zero is the end of the road for the signal. In the analog domain, when you are going with the signal like really hot, you are pushing to the yellow lights or maybe the red lights. That is kind of good in some of the gears. Like all the gear, the audio gear has a parameter like that is called like harmonic distortion, total harmonic distortion, or THD if you read the manuals. That on analog domain, in analog gear, that is really nice. Like the engineers, when you have a recording studio, you want that. That is something that you really want. And when you put the red lights on mixers, on preamp and stuff like that, you are adding distortion to the sound, but it's like nice distortion. It's distortion that you want to hear, that is pleasant to your ears. Sadly, in the digital domain, that doesn't happen. When you push the red light, it means like bad distortion, like you are messing up your sound. You never want to reach that because it's cutting the signal. It's like the digital circuit can't handle more signal, so it just cut the signal through that level. So that is why the zero is on the top, and the analog zero should be like in 18 around. You can see it because the light changed their colors. I can no, I can use this. Yeah, the lights change their color, so as in the same way as the analog domain, like 18 is in the threshold or the nice level. If you push it like really hard, I can do that now, but clipping is just cutting the signal. You don't want that. So each time that you are receiving like a new signal, you can check it in these slides or in these slides. I prefer to do it in this way with the solo button because you have a long range, you have a lot of lights, so you can check it. And in this recording that we are using was done with the same mixer, so I already checked the input signal on the live show, so it shouldn't be a really hard work to do now. Another stuff that I just forgot to do before teaching you about the preamp is that in this mixer you don't have for each channel a preamp knob, equalizer knobs, like for all that we have already talked, and the sense knob for the aux buttons and stuff. You have just one preamp knob, one equalizer section, and one send section. So the first thing that you need to have like really clear is that these sections are for every channel, but not at the same times, and that is the hard thing, because you need to select the channel that you want to manipulate to can use the knobs for that channel. So the channel that you have already selected, the name is there, and you can see the green light here. So, but you have to be really clear, because maybe you can be in the second layer. This mixer has 32 channels, but just 16 faders. So they are separated by layers. Like you have in the first layer 16 channels, in the second layer the other 16 channels. So I can have like this channel select, and I can be watching the first layer, and I can be moving knobs thinking that I've been manipulating one of these signals, but I already have selected this. So the first thing that you have to have in mind is that, like, being really clear with what are you doing, with which channel are you manipulating, so you can mess up your own mix. So with the Sala button, you can see the input signal and start with the right amount of voltage so you can work in this. We can stop there.